Hello and welcome to Ferris Sports Update. I'm your host, Brody Kaiser, and thank you so much for joining us today. On this episode, we'll catch up with Bulldog Football, talk to head coach of the Ferris State hockey team, Bob Daniels, and check in with women's soccer. First, though, Coach Tony Annese with football joining us on the show. Coach, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Brody.
Well, Coach, you mentioned last week you're a little bit nervous for the matchup over the weekend. Yeah, long trip up to the UP, but you come away with a win. It had to feel good for the guys to pick that one up.
Yeah, it's a huge win. Felt great relief, coming off that tough loss to Grand Valley, and then, playing a really good, opponent in Michigan Tech, and they, beat Northern Michigan, 50-something to nothing, and so they had some momentum going into the game, and we felt like we just had to get our minds right and go up there and play great football, and we did.
Coming off a loss is a bit of an odd position for Ferris State in your tenure, but how did the guys sort of respond to that loss to Grand Valley in practice last week?
It was, there were some episodes where, we were challenged mentally, not so much physically, but coaches and players alike. And so you just got to kind of reframe it and move on. But, our guys are warriors. They're just so gritty and really proud of them, proud of the way they played at Tech, and proud that they can overcome a lot of obstacles and just put their right mindset forward to perform at a high level.
Going up to Michigan Tech, you said that you guys stopped just over the bridge. What was that trip like?
It was good. We left Thursday late afternoon, got up there and just really go to sleep. Got up at 7:30 in the morning, got as far as the Superior Dome, practice there, and then went on to Baraga, and then the next day to Houghton.
Go ahead and take a look at some of the highlights from the game, and obviously a big performance from your whole team on both sides of the ball, really, but Carson Galker with a very impressive rushing day.
Yeah, it was it's a great day by everybody, but Carson obviously had an extraordinarily good day. We started with him and just tried to kind of assert our will running the ball, mixing a little bit of pass in there, but he does a nice job with the option game and handled the ball well. We got out of there with 0 turnovers, which is great, and Carson had 5 touchdowns.
You see one of them right there, but also a couple of big catches from Xavier Wade as well.
Yeah, Xavier does what Xavier does. We got great receivers. We've got the capacity to really stretch the field vertically. And so, and Malik played a lot too, and did a really nice job. And we also played Trinidad, and he did a nice job.
Malik comes in here and makes a couple nice plays, obviously breaks a tackle, and all 3 of your quarterbacks are just really tough kids. They play super hard football.
Yeah, they're good. They all got different skill sets, but we try to play to their strength.
You're going to see here the defense was a little tested maybe in terms of depth on this game in Michigan Tech, but boy, they came to the challenge when they were asked.
Yeah, I'll give you a stat here, Brody. We had 5 of our 7 back-end guys started at that position for the first time this year. And so pretty crazy, but obviously challenged by some injuries and just trying to get the right pieces of the puzzle.
Of course, that game against Grand Valley, you guys fell down early but fought back, and then being tested in the depth defensively against Michigan Tech. Talk about the resilience of your squad so far this season.
Yeah, it was one of those games, like particularly in the second half here, where they scored, we scored, they scored, we scored, and so every time they scored, we answered with a score, and so that's critically important.
Another big catch here by Xavier Wade is going to set up another one of those touchdowns for Carson Galker, and you can see him just sort of driving the legs, and got to be a good sight to see your head coach as your quarterback is that determined to get in the end zone.
Yeah, big, strong guy, and definitely a guy that can, get tough yardage. So I don't know all the time if you find quarterbacks like that, but he's one of them for sure.
You take a 21-7 lead into halftime. What was the message to the guys as you approached that second half?
Well, I was excited being up 21-7, really nervous about this drive because we took the win in the third quarter. In my mind, I'm thinking, okay, we got to go up at least 2 scores going into the fourth quarter, and then they closed it to 1 score. But we drove right down here and scored to make it 28-14. It's a nice reverse here to Tyrese. I was proud of Tyrese because he didn't have a catch in the game, and sometimes that happens, but he maintained a really positive attitude, and that was critically important.
Of course, we mentioned about that resiliency, and You get the touchdown right after they go down and score, and puts your team in a good position to close this game out.
Yeah, 2 touchdowns up. They drive right back down here and score, and then we do the same thing, and finally, finally outlasted them.
Closing out a team like Michigan Tech and any GLIAC opponent really is obviously very tough. But what does it take to get your defense to stand up tall in the fourth quarter as they've done so many times so far this season?
Just just the right mindset to know what it takes to be a champion. And I was people talk all the time. Oh, you're a 2-loss team. Well, we lost to Montana, who's ranked 5th in FCS, and we lost a tough one to Grand Valley, in which we really had a horrible start. But this team's playing as hard as any team I've ever coached, and if we continue to play hard and just stick to the process of working hard, playing hard, and having the right kind of attitude, the sky's the limit.
Offensively here, we're going to see a big drive to drain a lot of the clock off at the end of the fourth quarter and put yourself in a good position to seal this game out.
Yeah, that was 4th down there, and we figured we might as well take a shot because the clock wasn't going to run after that down either way. And so, but yeah, we took like 7.5 minutes off the clock and gave them hardly any time to finish.
Coming off that big win against Michigan Tech, what's the message to the guys this week in practice?
Just keep on growing. I think we'll get some bodies back, and just it's all about attitude and effort. Like I said, like our efforts, extraordinarily good. People want to always think about just winning, and winning equates to good things, and losing equates to bad things, and that isn't necessarily true. I try to focus on what's our energy level, how passionate are we playing the game, and these kids are playing really, really hard. So I'm proud of them for that. Our offensive line had a great day in the run game. We're trying to shore up some, protection stuff and things of that sort. But all in all, I thought, special teams is really good at Tech. So I think it was a good step forward.
American International on tap this weekend in Big Rapids. What's it going to be like to play them here at home?
It's going to be nice to be back at home. It's been somewhat taxing in that we had to go to, Ashland at a 7 o'clock game, and then we had to go to Montana and got home really late on that one, and then drive into Tech. And so obviously the Grand Valley game, even though it's a short trip, there's just a lot of stress involved in preparing for them. And so hopefully we can just go out there and have fun and perform at a very high level and play in front of the home crowd. Hopefully we have a beautiful Saturday afternoon.
You talked a lot during the summer about some of the leaders on this team. Talk about those veteran guys so far to start the year.
Well, I think that, Ian Hall is a superstar kid. He's been great for us, trying to get him healthy. Larray Oladipo's been a great leader for us. Major Dedman, great leader for us. But when I say leaders, they're not the most vocal guys all the time. So most of them are really pretty quiet guys. And so hopefully get a little bit more out of them, just to drive our team to greater heights.
Coach, thanks so much for joining us, and good luck this weekend.
Thanks, Brody. Appreciate it.
We'll be back for more Ferris Sports Update right after this.